couple in each section, and some of the answers are going to vary. It just depends on how you start your statement, okay? So I'll tell you which sections where the answers will vary. So they want you to write 3 valid congruency statements. So for it to be valid, the order matters, okay? Your order matters. For this section, your answers may vary. It just depends on how you start your statement and how you match it. So to do this, I kind of would pay attention to your markings. We have 1, then 2 tick marks, then 3 tick marks. And we want to match up our single tick mark, our 2 to 3. Okay, so your congruency statement is anytime we put in the congruency symbol. So what we're doing is naming the 2 triangles. So if I start off with triangle, let's say I go TPW. TPW means I went from 2 to 1. Starting at T, I had to go through 2 tick marks to get to P, 1 tick mark to get to W. So we have to match that pattern for it to be valid. So if I go TPW, how do I write 2 to 1 on the next triangle?
GHD.
Yep. GHD. So to write an additional valid congruency statement means you have to start with a different letter. So instead of starting with T, maybe I start with P. Let's say if I go counterclockwise, that would mean PWT. All right, PWT, which is 132, is congruent to HDG. Yes. Okay. All right, so you're going to do number C. You come up with your own. I'll check that you did the ordering correctly. This is why I say answers can vary. Yes. Yeah. Now, for this next section, given the congruency statement, so here on number 2, they're giving you the letters of the name of the triangle. And so we know which parts correspond by looking at that order. We're going to list all congruent angles and sides. So if I start with angles, that's just all I need is 1 letter. So angle A, the first letter in the statement, is going to be congruent to angle M, the first letter in the second part of the statement. So that means angle B is congruent to angle N, because those are the middle letters, and E is congruent to angle P. Now to do sides, we need 2 letters. So if I start with the first 2, AB, AB is congruent to, yep, MN, the next first 2. If I go to BE, which is middle and last, that's going to be congruent to, yep, NP. So the third side would be first and last. So AE is congruent to MP. So to do your sides, you need to look at your combination of 2 letters. You will do number 3. The answers may vary. Now, to write a congruency statement, another name, means we're just taking the statement starting with a different letter. So I can now say triangle E, then A, then B. So if I start with E, that would have to be congruent to triangle. What would be our valid congruent statement? P, yes. M, then N, yes. So the answers can vary on the first set. On the 1 through 3, the answers can vary. Now you have to actually fill in the actual value. Okay. 4 is just matching, so it's a condition. You're going based on, again, the congruency statement. So if I'm starting with TU, middle last, that's going to be congruent to LM. So all we're doing is matching. Okay, use the congruency statement to match. We did these on the guided practice, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I want to talk about number 5, because now it says find each missing measure. So there's measures on the triangle. They're giving us side measures and angle measures. You still use the congruency statement to find the corresponding parts. So if I'm starting with CM, CM corresponds with YR. If I look right here, I have the value of YR. It's 11. So that means CM is also 11. So now you're actually giving me the numeric value here. For BM, which was our first and last, BM corresponds with the RZ, yes, okay? So if I look here, I probably should do that in a different color. Here's my RZ right there, that's 15. So that means my BM is also 15. And then the last one, YZ, which is over here, YZ corresponds with CB. So that means YZ equals 8. Now, to find the angle measurements, that's what's inside the triangle. We got to remember all triangles equal 180. So if I'm finding angle B, we know B matches, to Z. And there's Z right there. So that means angle B is 45. Angle M, if I look at angle M here, M is the last letter and matches with R. This is missing for both. But we have both angles in this triangle CBM. So if I have 2 angles, I can find the missing third. All I have to do is add these 2 angles together and say 180 minus the 148, which equals 32. Yeah, so if this missing angle here is 32, then it is 32 in R as well. So M is 32, which means our remaining angle Y corresponds with C, and that's 103. So you're going to finish angle measures on the front. Then, since this is a 2-page document, this is at the top. If you flip it over, now you're going to do algebraic application, which is like we did on the guided practice. Just, there's no quadratics though, okay? So use your given congruency statement to help you find each variable. So if I'm starting with X, which side, where's my X variable? It's right here where the side is XS. So X, that side, XS, is congruent, so to which side in the other triangle? Match up the letters. XS is going to be congruent to what? Yep, DF. So that helps me set it up. So here's my DF. That's 54. So we have 17x plus 3 is going to equal to 54. So to solve, you're going to just subtract the 3. Get 17x equals 51, which means our x is going to equal to 3 when I solve for x. Now, to do my y variable, the y is part of the side. That variable is on the side xp. The side xp corresponds and is congruent to which other side? Yeah, dn. So I'm looking at the first two. Here's my dn over here. So the 4y minus 3 is going to equal to 57. Now we're just solving for y. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with angles, like on number 8, right, to kind of help simplify, they start off, they give us angle G here. G is the middle letter, and G matches with the middle letter T. So that lets me know this is also 45 right there. And now that I have these two angles, I can find the missing angle M by doing 180 minus the sum of those two angles, which is 86. I'll put equal, sorry. Let me rewrite that. 180 minus 86. That comes out to be 94. So M maps to B, which that is also 94. So now I can find the variables, because I can see that to solve for x, this 4x minus 3 is going to equal to 45. And to solve for y, my 11y plus 6 is going to equal to 94. And now we're just going from 2 variables to 3 variables, okay? Using the angles or the sides. I want to talk about number 10 and 11. The remaining 10 through 12 are missing pictures, but you can draw a picture to help problem solve, or just focus on your congruency statement. Okay. So like if I start with this first part, it says AB. Well, that's the first 2 letters. AB is congruent and corresponds to DE. So my 8 equals, and right here they tell me DE is the y minus 6. And now I can solve for the variable. Okay. Now to get to the x, which was the EF, EF is middle and last. EF is corresponding and congruent to BC. So my 4x minus y equals 19. So if you use a congruency statement, you can set it up. If not, you can draw a picture to help. Sides are easier than angles, because with angles you might have to find a missing angle. So like on 11, to find the x, which is angle K here, K maps to y. So we know it's equal. Those two have the same value. So the 13x minus 37 is going to equal the 41. But to get to the y, which is angle A maps to z. And if you look, they didn't give us the z. We know we have K. K is, it's 41, because these two are equal to each other. We do know M is 112. So to find the missing z, we just do 180 minus these two, which is 153. That comes out to be 27. So now I know my angle A is equal to angle Z. So 2y plus 7 equals to 27. So if you're missing an angle measurement, find that missing angle by just adding the 2 and subtracting from 180. Okay? So draw a picture if you need to, but most of these can all be done or set up using the congruency statement. So what I'm doing, I'm giving people class time to finish this. It's going to be due on Monday, but you're not going to have the whole period to work on it because we have a second part. So if you finish in class today, I'll stamp it for bonus points added to your score. If not, you'll have a little time on Monday to get it completed. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so I'm letting you have the remaining class to finish.